I just tried to pay attention to those patterns, when he was active, and usually whenever I'd eat breakfast, he'd be really active afterwards, and he just wasn't really that day. And then, kind of just tried to, pay attention through the morning, and still there wasn't really a whole lot of movement. Yeah, usually he'd get his 10 kicks in within 15 minutes. It was really important to me because our second son was stillborn at 39 weeks, and I had noticed a decrease in his movement the last couple of weeks, but nothing, major. But had I, been paying attention more, or, had I been, counting my kicks, been educated to do that, maybe things could have ended differently with him. If I could prevent anything like that from happening again, then absolutely I'm gonna try.
We usually did it every evening, just sitting here on the couch every night, right around, I don't know, I think usually did around 8:30.
I called my doctor and, just said, just doesn't feel right. This just isn't how he normally is. And so they had me come in for a non-stress test. So I was hooked up to that for about 20 minutes, and the doctor right away was like, I do not like the way this looks at all. So she sent me to the hospital for further monitoring.
She's like, don't get gas, just get down there and tell them you need to be hooked up.
After being monitored for several hours, things were just kind of not going in a direction that they liked at all. He still wasn't really moving, and they weren't sure why. So the doctor decided it was better to have me deliver him early than to, keep him in for another day. Once I delivered him, they told me that his umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck and both of his legs. The doctor kind of put it as he was hogtied. So that was a big reason why he, couldn't hardly move.
He started crying, and so it was just like, you just had this immediate relief.
The next morning, when I was at the hospital, the doctor that did the non-stress test, she came in to check on me, and she was just like, I think you saved your baby's life, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. So, yeah.
If she wouldn't have been paying as close of attention to his movements and, counting the kicks, and it truly was a matter of life or death. So it's incredibly important.
No other problems, luckily, and he didn't need to be on oxygen or anything. They were blown away that with him being 33 weeks, he didn't need any oxygen support. Within a week of being in the NICU, they moved him to like a step-down unit so he could just get bigger and learn how to eat. It's interesting that, this actually all took place on the day of the Count the Kicks luncheon, and yes, I would have loved to have been there, but it didn't quite go that way that day. And it's very ironic that it all took place on that day. He was sending a big message. Yep, baby save on Count the Kicks luncheon day. I just look at him and I can't imagine, had I not called that day, and, things could be so different.